Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I, Riya Jain, welcomes you all on today's webinar on discussion on why so many civil suits are dismissed because of poor drafting and what care should be taken while drafting a civil suit. The speaker for today's webinar is Mr. Harish A. Raichura. He is a senior legal counsel on Raichuria and Associates and is been practicing litigation since 1982, having an experience of 38 years in litigation. He has authored a book, Tomato Soup for Lawyers and Judges, Soul Enriching Poems and Stories, Volume 1 and 2. He has specialization in consultation in legal disputes and is practicing in Supreme Court of India, High Court, NCLT, NCLAT and other educating forums and tribunals in NCR, Delhi. Over to you, sir. We all are very eager to listen to you.
Everything that you can know generally from the discussion with friends and with everybody. But there are also books regarding sample of these shoots, and you can file this suit. But what care should be taken that shoot does not suffer from any infirmity that later it can be rejected. Why drafting is most important? Even in 38 years ago, when I joined civil court, district court, I was aware that civil drafting is very, very important. It is easy to draft a petition in High Court Article 226 or Supreme Court petition, but it is not so easy to draft a civil suit. The reason is this way. It is said that civil procedure code is a complete in itself. Nothing is left out, everything is there. Every step in the suit must follow certain sections, certain order, certain rules. Every procedure is prescribed. So if you fail in some procedure, the suit suffers. Suit can be dismissed on that ground. So it is a technical subject, civil procedure law. Now, one thing you may be knowing, but I may repeat, that should consist not just story of our client, but it should contain statement of facts. Now, what is statement of facts? A statement is a statement of fact if it can be either denied or admitted. Suppose if I say that today is Sunday, it is a statement of fact. Other party can either admit it or deny it. So this is a statement of fact. Now, if I say that today weather is good or today it is a good day, so it is not a statement of fact. How other party can deny or admit? So should contain statement of facts which can be either denied or admitted by the other side. Now, one suit I have seen that it was drafted like this, that defendant is a very bad person. Now, if you write that defendant is very bad person, then how other side defendant can deny it or admit it? This is not a statement of fact. There were so many loose statements. In High Court writ petition, you can describe your petition in the way you want, but here you have to call out statement of fact. For example, you have to say that on certain date, defendant has made an agreement with me. So this is a statement of fact. Other side can either admit or deny it. You can say that on certain date, this property was released to me. That is a statement of fact. You can say that on such and such date, he published certain news or advertisement in newspaper, it violated my copyright laws. So this is a statement of fact. It can be either denied or admitted. So first thing is there should be statement of facts. Here is the difference between how you draft a petition in High Court, Article 226, and how you draft a civil suit. In High Court petition, you can be a liberal. It is just like a petition. You are telling to judge that this has happened to me, and this is how my right is violated, etc. Other side gives their reply, and judge makes up his mind. But civil procedure is here. Every line will be either denied or admitted by other side. That is the technicality of the civil suit. Now this is good so far as that civil suit should be drafted very carefully. It should contain statement of fact. But why I am saying that if it is some care is not taken, it can be dismissed on this ground only that you have not drafted suit properly. This is a very humiliating thing for an advocate that court says and clients and everybody, your own client will say, oh, what has happened? You didn't draft properly. Why my suit has been dismissed? Now, so there is a provision to which I want to draw your attention. Many of good seasoned lawyer may be aware. In civil procedure, there is a Order 7, Rule 11. It means that at any time in the suit, before the judgment is delivered, other side can file an application that please reject the suit, reject this suit on the ground that plaintiff, the suit application which has been filed is defective for reason A, B, C, D. The reasons are given in the Order 7, Rule 11. Now, if your suit falls in this reason, then it is mandatory for the court to reject your suit. The suit will be rejected, parties will go to High Court. High Court will examine whether it is rightly rejected or not. Then they will dispute have reached up to Supreme Court that suit has been rejected because of improper drafting. And the Supreme Court has also upheld that yes, if these things are missing, then your suit is liable to be dismissed, rightly dismissed. Now you try to understand pain of your client if your suit suffer for some defect in the drafting. So for this purpose, you have to study properly civil procedure, Order 7, Rule 11. This is one point. But before that, I would like to say why we make a mistake in drafting. There are two reasons. Suppose in the evening a client comes that some construction is being made by other side and we want a stay immediately tomorrow. So lawyer will not have much time. He has to immediately draft a suit and file next day and get a stay. So because of the hurry or speed in which it has to drafted, sometimes the mistakes happen. Defect remains in the plaint and then suit can be rejected on this ground. Now sometimes lawyers deliberately draft a suit. They know that this suit is not maintainable. There is bar of certain provision that shows this suit has to be filed in Bangalore. But the client has reached to a Delhi lawyer. Delhi lawyer says, okay, I will file it in Delhi court. So he will draft it cleverly in such a way that apparently it will look as if there is no bar of filing this suit in Delhi. So this will be a defect in the plaint. If the other side lawyer is clever, if he is fully aware about Order 7 Rule 11, he will file an application anytime. He may wait for some time or any time he can file his application that look, this court has no jurisdiction to file this suit. The plaintiff requires to be rejected because of the Civil Procedure Code 7, Order 7, Rule 11, and then court will have to reject this suit. Now, Order 7, Rule 11 contains 3-4 provisions, but I would like to draw out only your attention to only 2 points. One is there is no cause of action, and second is there is some bar of certain law to file this suit. Now, regarding the first part is concerned, whether there is a cause of action is there or not, it is easy for you to find out a cause of action. There is a bundle of facts which constitute cause of action. Something has happened because of which right to sue has occurred, because of which plaintiff can sue the defendant. That is one cause of action. Then something has been done by defendant. For example, after 3 months, defendant rejects your notice and refuses to obey with your order, your notice or something. So there is an act of defendant which also gives cause of action. The cause of action can be several. In my early days, when I saw the suits filed by others, in the cause of section, they wrote several dates. For example, the cause of action arose when on this date when these people met, then on this date when these people orally agreed to enter into such agreement, then on this date when actually purchased paper, then again on this date when they actually signed the document, then on this date when this document was registered, etc., etc. There may be several facts which can be put into cause of action, but the court tests in this way: does this fact give rise to sue to the defendant? Has defendant done any act which gives cause of action? So what I have seen civil lawyers are doing, they write several of facts as a cause of action. Suppose 3-4 are not cause of action in the eye of court, but even if there is one cause of action, then the suit is maintainable. Now there are 2-3 defendants. You can be asking relief against one, but may not be asking relief against other. So other party will say that, look, I am neither jointly or severally liable. Suit, so far as me is concerned, there is no cause of action. Then also such dispute he can raise. For example, defendant number 5 can file application under 7 Rule 11 that reject this suit. There is no claim against me, no cause of action against me, no relief is claim against me, or anything. This kind of dispute were raised several times. It reached up to the Supreme Court, and now Supreme Court has said that even if there is one cause of action, the suit is maintainable. You cannot say that half of suit is not maintainable against this person and half of suit is maintainable against this person. If there is only one cause of action, suit will be maintainable. So this judgment of Supreme Court has now come in the field, and all you need to see is you should understand what is cause of action, and in cause of action paragraph you should write several facts as a cause of action. Some of them may not be cause of action. It doesn't matter. The judge will say, all right, this is not cause, but these are cause of action. Even if there is one cause of action, the suit will become maintainable. So this is the one advice, to draft cause of action very cautiously. Now, second point is a little difficult for young and new lawyers. That is a Order 7 Rule 11D. It says that you may file the suit provided it is not barred by any law. Now, there are 10,000 or more laws in India. Maybe thousand laws are there. How do you know that whether this filing of this suit is barred or not? For example, there is a dispute regarding an army man and army or government. Now, these suits are barred. There is special law regarding army services. There, everything has to be filed. Then, central government employees. If you file suit, if a central government employee files a suit, it can be barred because his service dispute has to be decided in Central Administrative Tribunal as per the law. So there are several laws. Your suit should not be barred by any law. If it is barred by any law, that at any stage it can be dismissed. So this requires experience to know whether a particular suit is barred by any law or not. It's not a very difficult, but one should keep in mind. And suppose even if it is barred by law, then it is duty of other side to file a application or in reply to say that because of this law it is not possible, this suit is not possible. So it will be decided, argued. But so far as possible, you can do is to draft very carefully, taking these 2 points, that cause of action is properly drafted. Statement of facts are properly drafted, which can be admitted or denied by other side. And the suit is not barred by any other law. That part you should check if you have time to file a suit. Nowadays, there are copyright and trademarks, and so many types of suits are also filed as a commercial suit. Now, there are provisions where the suit has to be filed, etc. In trademark, there is a special provision. So, whenever you are filing suit, you check that it is not barred by proper law, or take care to draft in such a way that on the face of plaint, it discloses cause of action and it is not barred by any law on the face of it. Because the Order 7 Rule 11 says, judges say we do not look at the defense, we only look at the plaint as it is. If it contains violation of 711, 1 or D, then may reject the suit. Now, here we have discussed the technical points why suit can be dismissed, but there is also a saving provision that there are many things which you can amend later. Suppose you have drafted in a hurry, then you can amend the plaint that look, I could not draft this paragraph while filing the suit, but now I want to draft this paragraph. I want to add this in my plaint. That is Order 6, Rule 7. This helps us that suppose we have filed a suit in hurry. In the evening client came, tomorrow we filed, and then some things we feel that should have been drafted better. Something should have been. Then this Order 6, Rule 17 will come in the way. Now there is also a lot of case law when this amendment can be allowed, when it cannot be allowed. If plaint itself is without any cause of action, then whether by amendment you can add it. If it is suit barred by Order 7 Rule 11, that something is missing, then can you amend it by 617? There will be a lot of argument, lot of case laws will have to be discussed. But These two are when you are going in a civil court, a client has come you to file a civil suit, then you should appear that you are well versed in knowledge of law about the civil law. So, to show that you are good in civil law, in my opinion, all you need to do is read the commentaries and case laws of Order 7 Rule 11 very carefully. Suppose you can read 100 cases or 200 cases of Order 7 Rule 11, you will be as good as a master in civil law. How, I will explain you. When client will begin to say that such and such dispute is there and he want to file suit, then you will be immediately pointing out, look, there was a case where this fact was necessary. If you don't have this fact, your suit can be dismissed. So you have to bring this fact. Tell me this point where, otherwise our suit will be dismissed. You can say this only if you have studied Order 7 Rule 11 and case laws on that. It will not only help you in drafting, but it will help you in convincing the client that you know very well civil law. There are many other provisions in civil law. All are procedural. Court can grant you time to correct. Suppose if you have some mistake, made some mistake, court can give you time that yes, you are junior advocate, you can correct this. There are all other provisions. There is some latitude, but the mandatory and top provision which I have discussed right now is Order 7 Rule 11. You have to carefully study all at least 100, 200 cases before you say that you are good in civil law. Thereafter, suppose you have studied this type of 711 application in the different suits, then your drafting will be good, and in the conference with the client will be impressed by the fact that you know the civil law. Now, how client judges us when we are discussing a civil case, civil law, client judges us by the questions we ask him. Suppose there is a landlord-tenant dispute and the client comes to us. If I ask, where is the rent note? He said, there is no rent note. Okay, there is a rent receipt. Is there any rent receipt? He says, there is no rent receipt. But whatever, suppose I have asked these two questions, the client will know that I know very well about the rent law and what kind of disputes are raised, what kind of things are happening. So these all thing is possible for you to understand if you study Order 7 Rule 11 commentaries. I used to study AIR manual. That is about 45 or 50 manuals. There is one civil procedure code, different volumes, and then there are several sections on Order 7 Rule 11, below which different cases are given. I used to read all these cases, commentaries, so I generally know what kind of disputes are raising in different types of suits. So this helped me to convince client that I know very well civil law. This is helpful when clients want, there is some urgency. Client has come today, you have to file suit tomorrow and get some injunction. So this previous knowledge helps you. If you have got a month time before filing suit, then you can specifically study everything and then you can file. There will be little chances of any error. But for urgency and immediate situation, and if you want to look like a good civil lawyer, I suggest to read this Order 7 Rule 11, and another order is Order 6 Rule 17. Order 6 Rule 17 is important this way. It says certain types of amendment can be allowed. You can amend your plan anytime. Cannot be amended. So cannot be amended type of cases we should keep in mind that if you have made this mistake in plaint, you will not be allowed to amend by court. So these two are sufficient to take care while drafting a suit. So I have conveyed to you that when you want to go into a civil litigation, client will be looking for a very experienced and knowledgeable civil lawyer. If you are a young lawyer, you should be conversant with several case laws on these points so that client can feel convinced that yes, he is in safe hands. This man knows many things about the suit. So and then about drafting also it will be well once you have studied this. And order 16 rule 17, if you have studied, you will know what kind of defect can be cured even later and what kind of defect cannot be cured. So this is the basic of filing a civil suit. I think this is all what I wanted to convey. If any of you have any question, you can ask.
Sir, we have a question from a participant. Can you state in briefly what type of common cases are falling in civil suit?
What type of?
Can you state in briefly what type of common cases are falling in civil suit?
Okay. For that, you have to read section 9 of the Civil Procedure Code. It says that all type of dispute in the world, I mean in our country, can be filed in the civil court under section 9 unless it is barred by any special law. So the provision is this way: you can file all type of suit. Suppose you have gone in the morning walk, a pet dog of the neighbor has bitten you, you can file civil suit. And because there is no bar of filing such a lieu. So here the criteria is there should not be any bar of any law. Otherwise, you can file all type of suit. Whatever the dispute is there, you can go to civil court and file. Yes, any question there?
Thank you, sir. So, another question from a participant is, can you tell us about a court fee in a civil case?
There is a court fee act, it is different by every state. And I suggest you to read again 7 Rule 11. In 7 Rule 11, it is said, subsection, that if court fee is less, the court can give time to fill up the court fee. So regarding court fee, you do not much worry. Even if you have filed less court fee, court will not outright reject your claim that look, you have not filed proper court fee. They will give you time that as per the Court Fees Act, you are required to pay this much fees. Court will give you some 2 week, 3 week, 4 week time, whatever you want, and in that you can file court fee. So regarding court fee, my answer is different type of suit have different court fees. These are defined in the Court Fees Act. The Court Fees Act are different of each state. Delhi has a different court fee act, Gujarat has a different, Bombay has a different. So you have to look into those act for determining the exact court fee. But another point is don't much worry about the court fees. After filing of suit, if court fee is less, then court will give you time to file suit, court fee. If suppose court fee is filed more, then court will say take back this much amount. This much court fee is not necessary. So regarding court fee, you can relax.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is, why parties are not interested in settling their disputes in civil court and they tend to add arbitration clause in the agreement?
Please again, why parties?
Why parties are not interested in settling their disputes in civil court and they tend to add arbitration clause in the agreement?
Mhm. You see, arbitration is a newly developing field, and civil cases take time. There are so many provisions, so many applications can be filed under each provision. Whereas in Arbitration Act, it is like summary proceedings, and judge does not also have to give much reasons, and the parties think that the dispute will be settled by arbitrator. So they put arbitration clause to exclude the civil court. So this is the tendency of the parties. But there are still cases where, suppose I give you example that you are going and the neighbor's dog bites you. You can file a suit. There is no question of any arbitrator or anything. But in commercial transaction now there is a trend to bypass the civil court by putting an arbitration clause because they want a speedy justice. That's all. That is the reason.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is, in certain cases, a remedy falls under both civil and criminal. What is the proper way to go about things then?
Remedy lies on both civil and
In
which
certain, both civil and criminal, what is the proper way to go about things then?
this is answer will depend by every lawyer. The answer will be different by every lawyer. For example, in a murder case, a party filed a complaint. Then within 1 year, he also filed a civil suit that look, you have murdered my brother or my father, and therefore I suffered so many damages. Now, so far as the criminal trial was concerned, that man was convicted. After 7 years, he came out from the jail. His conviction was reduced or something was that, whatever was it. Then the civil suit came up for hearing, and then he has to pay damages as per the civil law. There may be cases where both remedies are there, but it depends on the lawyer and the strategy. It is like asking about art of war. What is the best strategy in the battlefield? It depends. Depends strength of the each parties. Which are the parties there? There is no hard and fast law. Civil and criminal both can be filed. And sometimes parties are not willing to file civil case, sometimes they are not willing to file criminal law. Sometimes they think that the criminal law is speedier. We don't want to pay court fee. We don't want to file civil suit. Civil suit may require court fee, while filing a simple criminal complaint may not require that court fee. So parties, advocates, everybody decide this. There is no hard and fast rule in which way we should fight.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is whether false cause of action covers under Order 7 Rule 11. Shall I repeat, sir?
Yes. Whether
Whether false cause of action is covered under Order 7 Rule 11.
you see, there have been cases where even if there is no cause of action, the parties have drafted in such a way that it may look that there is a cause of action. So, defendants should file an application to reject the plaint on the ground that there is no real cause of action. Whatever stated in plaint is a false cause of action. So, court are empowered to see whether there is a real cause of action or not. And there is a case of ITC Limited or something. He has given some loan of 50 lakh, 2 lakhs or something to a party because the party showed that this material is coming to him from the seller. bank granted loan. Now, that party never sent material to him. The bank filed a suit on this man that you have wrongly taken this loan, etc. So court said this is not a cause of action. Whether that man has sent him goods or no is not a cause of action. Cause of action is when that man does not return your money or repay you. So suit was dismissed as a false cause of action. So if there is a false cause of action, if some lawyer has drafted very craftily to make it look like a cause of action, you can certainly unveil it before the court that look, cause of action is not real and plaintiff should be rejected under 711. That's the answer.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is dispute between joint property of husband and wife for possession. Can we file it in civil court or family court?
I think civil court is there. Family court comes into where the dispute relating to family relationship or whatever is provided in family law is there. And if there is a domestic violation, then there are also provisions regarding which properties can be given to wife, etc. But if you say that husband and wife has a joint property, and now they want each one separate, so I don't think this is a family court issue. This is a simple property dispute, and it has to be decided by a civil court.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is in cross suit, res judicata is not applicable. Sir, the participant is asking in cross suit whether res judicata is applicable or not.
This is altogether a different subject. Res judicata law is a totally different law, and it is nothing like that in counter affid return counter cross suit it is applicable, and in main suit it is not applicable. It is applicable in cross suit as well as main suit. If there is res judicata means something which has been already decided by the court. So if a dispute is anywhere decided, it will be res judicata. Whether you take it in cross suit or main suit, wherever it is, it will be barred. The idea behind res judicata is same type of lease. Court should not be bothered twice. That is the main idea. If already there is a judgment on merit on certain dispute, then that dispute cannot be rising, in my view, even in cross suits. Res judicata will be there.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is can a suit be amended after issues are framed by the court?
It can be amended at any stage. But you see, judge will say why you have taken delay and whether any prejudice has been caused to other side. Suppose issues are framed, evidence is laid. Now you learn that he has taken this evidence, this type of stand, and now you want to change your stand. This is not allowable. That type of amendment will not be allowed. So, amendment can be allowed at any stage, but not too late. It should not have prejudice other side. It is a matter of fact. Each court will decide whether it is filed at belated stage or not. It is open for the court to grant or not to grant amendment application.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is what are the important sections which a junior must read
About importance
about civil
about civil law.
CPCs?
This was the whole basic concept behind this webinar. That civil procedure law is a very vast law, but now you are a new lawyer, you have come in the bar room, and a civil client comes. He asks you, who is the best lawyer in civil law? Now, what will you answer? You will have to So that look, I am good in civil law. You can ask me any question about civil law. Tell your dispute, I will tell you what can be done, what cannot be done. Now, if you have read these 711 commentaries and several judgments on it, you will be able to satisfy the client. So this is the core issue which I have today discuss is other things, other provisions are all you can read later, but this is my before a civil client comes, you should be ready with the knowledge of Order 7, Rule 11, that what must be there in the plant, otherwise plant will be dismissed at any stage. So that must be the minimum preparation that should be there.
Thank you, sir. Another question by a participant is, sir, can you throw some light on ex parte decree remedy to the dependent?
It is out
Shall I
of the
repeat?
subject of this webinar, but I think there are two remedies. One, you can approach the same court, and another, you can go into appeal. If there is an ex parte decree, there is certain time limit. You can move same court that look because of this reason I could not reach or summons has been falsely served, or you can go in appeal. Is Order 9 Rule 13 application. There are provisions in civil procedure how to do if ex parte judgment is passed and you want to set aside it.
Thank you, sir. So, another question by a participant is, during lockdown, many cases were disposed in the Supreme Court because of the internet problem or any other. What are the remedies to the party to review the case?
Now in Supreme Court, suits are not there, special leave petitions are there. So special leave petition may have been dismissed because of the lockdown internet problem. But you see, when judges in Supreme Court, even when they issue notice or when they dismiss, they do apply their mind. Only when they feel that this case requires to be dismissed, then they dismiss. And sometimes lawyers do in this way, they know that they have a hopeless case. So they will switch off the internet. So court will be helpless. So court will dismiss it. Lawyer will be playing trick. We don't know. But one thing is certain: when judges are dismissing a case, they are well aware. They have done previous homework. They have made findings, notes. They discuss between themselves. There are three judge benches, two judge. They discuss: should we dismiss this case? Internet is not coming, or either this another judge said this hopeless shoot, this is frivolous. We should impose cost. That's why the lawyer is not coming into internet. Some discussion is there in judges that this shoot is this SLP is hopeless. That's what they dismiss. So even if suppose dismiss and if the lawyer wants, he can file review petition. It will go before the same judges. If they will think that some injustice is done, they can review the order. They can recall the order.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for all the answers. And, sir, we at Law Shastra thank you for spending your time and giving us such a knowledgeful session, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you. All of you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.